You're listening to the Really Very Crunchy podcast with your hosts, Emily
and Jason. Emily, today marks a new milestone for the Really Very Crunchy podcast.
It's a launch.
It's a launch. We are launching with the That Sounds Fun network, podcast network.
Created by the famous Annie F. Downs herself.
And this is our 1 year anniversary.
Of doing a podcast?
Yeah, pretty much, sort of. We kind of released 3 episodes at once, so it's actually been slightly longer, technically. But it was May last year. I think it was like the 15th, so maybe it's the next week. But it's been a year. We have been making podcast episodes for a full year, and you guys have been amazing.
Thank you so much for tuning in week after week.
Yeah, and buying shirts. And getting us to over 1,000 reviews on Spotify and Apple, or at least the stars, whatever.
We feel loved.
Overwhelmingly positive reviews.
1,000 stars.
Well, yeah,
so
I just counted
it
as
by that by 5. If we got 5 stars.
Oh no! Well, it's 1,000 reviews. Times 5.
Oh, okay.
Times 5 is how many actual stars we got.
Stars.
But really, it's still kind of a negative thing. If you only got 1 star, that counts as a negative. So, it doesn't count as an additional star to your overall star system that you want to average close to 5. So that's how stars work, Emily.
I understand.
Star system.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, you wanted to count individual stars, so I was a little
said
confused.
1,000 stars, so I was like.
Well, because you can't technically leave a review. Ratings, I should say. Ratings. You can't leave a review on Spotify. You can on Apple. And
okay.
I read every single one of them, and I'll read yours if you leave one right now. We've gotten a lot of questions for you through Instagram, emails. They keep coming up over and over and over again about you starting a Forest Friends group. Now, when we started Really Very Crunchy, Forest Friends was it was part of a joke.
Yeah,
right?
It did not exist.
Right, because you needed to call like your homeschool group or whatever you were creating for the videos, your Forest Friends on Friday. You wanted to do this, was that an alliteration? Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just wanted to make it sound kind of fun. And
just kind of dorky, silly.
Yeah. But it was a little while after that, you're like, you know what?
Well,
I should actually start a Forest Friends on Friday.
So many people were like, is that real?
Yeah.
Is that real? And then this friend of mine, she said, we should make it real.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, you'll do this with me? And she didn't, but I did it. She said she was going to do it with me. We're still friends. It's okay.
Yeah. She goes to a different Forest Friends.
Go to a different nature group. I'm not really sure on that one. There was some tension. There was some
Forest Friend tension.
Drama.
What drama?
I don't know. Yeah. Forest Friends tension.
They should make a TV show of
Forest Friends
just
frenemies.
like a reality show of homeschool moms and their rival Forest Friend gangs.
Mm-hmm.
And like they go into, foraging competitions.
Well, then,
I only got 3 mushrooms last year.
Somebody created in this area, kind of not like exactly this area, but near Feral Friends.
On Friday?
I'm not sure if they meet on Friday. I can't remember. But it was after I created Forest Friends on Friday. Then they created Feral Friends, and they just go in the forest and like, I don't know. The kids just run around.
Can I say something?
What?
I don't know anybody in the group, so I can objectively just say this. This is an objective stance. I don't want to join a group called Feral anything. Feral's always kind of a negative connotation. Feral cats. You never want a feral cat unless you have a mouse problem.
I think they're just saying like they will just run wild, whatever.
Feral? Feral? That kind of implies like untamed. Well, I guess that's what they want. Exactly. Our children are untamed. Well, no, they're not.
There has to be a level.
Do you not teach them manners?
I don't know. So anyway, I never went to Feral Friends.
Do they eat off plates?
I did get invited once by
Feral
someone.
Friends don't even have like floors.
Yeah, someone joined my Forest Friends once. I think she only came once or twice. She went to Feral Friends and then invited me to Feral Friends. And it's like, what do you think? I got room in my schedule for all these friends?
Excuse me, I have Forest Friends
Yes.
on Friday. We do what Feral Friends do, but we're not crazy.
Feral Friends doesn't sound very Charlotte Mason, if you ask me.
Pretty sure she had a negative view of feral children.
Pretty sure. So,
can I change just to very quickly change gears here and mention last week's podcast about being type B and how the notes we have are written on a gift bag?
That
today?
Was me.
That was you.
You were like, can you jot down some notes
Jot
for
down
me?
some notes about some Forest Friends things, and it's...
Well, I would reuse
That's a
that
type
bag.
B thing to do.
I'd reuse that bag, but it has the brand on the back, Slims, which is a local little boutique. I like them. I've shopped there.
If you've shopped at Slim's, leave a review. You are reusing the bag.
Yeah, I'm kind of not giving it its
right
greatest potential.
You know, there's another... I can rip it open and write notes on the inside.
It's true. I could still use it to give somebody something, you know.
Yeah. Well,
not like as a gift, but like, here's those onions you wanted.
It's like, wait, you hate feral friends?
That wasn't even on the list.
No.
Anyway, so this friend saying she wanted Forest Friends to be real kind of inspired me to do it. But also there were other things like one time I used to go out in the woods by myself pretty regularly, at least once a week. Sometimes I'd invite somebody, but you know, like just random.
Are you saying
dates.
with the kids or like?
Yeah, with the kids.
Yeah, okay.
Just go out, just drive and
like
go somewhere.
I have to be alone.
No.
For a minute and cry.
Just exploring the nature that's around us. Anyway, one time I decided to take them morel hunting. And I just went to
our kids or
our children.
Okay.
Only our children.
Just to clarify. Sorry.
Alder was basically a newborn. He was born April 1st. So yeah, it was like in that season.
Right.
And then Oaks was 2.5. And so I took them out to this random place that someone had told me that they saw someone carrying bags and bags of morels.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, okay, I'll go there. I went there. Pulled off, parked on the side of the road, just random spot. Went into the woods, no trails or anything, just picking a place.
Yeah.
And I started walking and I was like, well, I'm parked on the road. As long as I can see the road, everything will be fine. So I just like
famous last words.
Kept walking. Looking back ever so often, and for a while I could see my car, but then, you know, I'm like, I think I can still see the road. Kept walking.
And was the key fob battery out too? So like if you needed to use the
exactly.
alarm, it would be like
you dead. And I mean, our key fob has been dead since.
I was just making sure
like
back then I think it was still dead.
Yeah. We have to, you have to hold up the key fob to the button press in our car. It still works.
Yeah.
But it kind of defeats the purpose of a key fob.
I took the car the other day. Sorry. We'll get back to that. But it's funny because you have to pull a key out of the key fob when the fob's battery's dead to lock and unlock the car. And I had locked the car. So it felt kind of weird because I had to disassemble the key fob in order to unlock the car. Anyway, go ahead. Morels.
Type B, right? I mean,
yeah,
how many years?
It's not that hard to change the battery. I've done it once.
Oh, you changed the battery?
Yeah, it's just one of those little circle batteries.
Little button batteries?
Yeah. And,
I thought you had to take it to a dealer.
No, it takes like 3 seconds. We even have the batteries at home.
We do?
I'm pretty sure that they're in the junk pile over there.
You should definitely do that.
They're in the socks. They're under anybody listened last week, they're under the sock pile behind Emily.
For a while, we had one that was dead and one that wasn't.
Yeah.
So you could.
Now they're both dead.
No, they're just both dead. Anyway, I was, hunting morels and I could feel them. So I was following.
Okay.
I could feel it. I didn't end up finding any.
Are you going to go into that theory?
No.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
Well, I don't think anybody else is going to, are you joking or what?
No, mushrooms can communicate. supposedly,
not to you.
Mushrooms can communicate to trees around them about imminent danger within their root systems and such. Like,
He's
I don't know.
mowing. Last time I saw him knock Charlie's root.
No.
It hurt him bad.
Stuff about their like deep root systems that the mycelium can detect. I don't know. I'm not sure about
and
it.
So now you can just feel where they are.
I've like heard mushrooms. I've heard them say,
I'm calling bull
I'm
on
here.
this.
I'm here.
I think you
I'm
just
here.
had gas.
No. I mean, unless it's just like my body is like, oh, this is prime time for mushrooms. This is prime season.
Yeah,
like
after
these
a
are great
rain,
conditions.
It's damp.
No, but it's very specific. Like right now probably would be a good time
Do
to
you
go
feel
look for
them right now?
I don't.
You don't feel them?
I don't. It's like, and it happens in a very specific moment. Like the last time it happened, I was cooking dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I was just cooking dinner, not thinking about mushrooms. And it like entered me. The mushrooms are calling you.
You know, that happens every time I want pizza. I sense it, and then the Domino's guys go into some guy's house in the neighborhood. Maybe they have mushrooms on the pizza. And they're calling to me.
No. That's not how it works.
Okay, and yours works.
Anyway,
mine sounds just about as real as yours does.
Work, and really, it's just been in our woods. It's not just like
you're really
general.
in tune with our property.
Yeah.
Once you hit the property line, you're haywire.
Totally lost it. It only happens when I'm at home.
Well, you're at peace here,
and in like I can feel them in our woods.
Okay.
So
all right.
I'm just
cool.
telling you. That's what. Anyway. I was hunting morels and I got lost. I got lost with a newborn and a toddler.
To keep the road in
and
view.
It was like mucky. And I was having to like lift oaks up, out of tangles of swamp. It was a little scary. I started to panic. And then I'm like, I don't know what to do. There was no cell signal.
Oh.
What am I going to do? I had nothing.
Didn't
no
you
water.
watch Bear Grylls back in the day?
I was trying to look at the moss on the trees.
Do.
I never had cable, Jason. I didn't get to watch Bear Grylls. But I did try to look at the moss on the trees, and I'm like, it's growing on every side.
Yeah, I've never understood that. They always say, well, if you want to go north, just look at the side of the tree and you'll see where the moss is. And it's like, it's all over every tree I've ever seen.
Every single tree.
Every direction is north.
So anyway, I ended up just praying. I seriously just prayed for help to find my way back. Mm-hmm. And I did. Nice. It was good. We made it. And I decided.
Was it a cloudy day?
Yeah.
Also, so you couldn't use the sun very well.
Yeah. Yes. I decided, not that I even looked at the direction where I parked. That wouldn't have really been that helpful.
Yeah. It's funny that you can feel mushrooms, but you can't feel north or something. That would be more useful, I think.
I feel like I have a pretty good sense of direction.
Until you're in the woods by yourself.
Out of the two of us, I can tell when we're in a city which way to go, or you think you do, and then you don't.
This could be a fight. Let's go. All right. Let's do this.
In random woods, I do not have a great sense of direction.
I probably wouldn't have lost my way from the car. But you get me into a city, it's like, listen, right, I don't know what I'm doing. Unless I could see the sun. Usually, really, the sun does help me. It's like, okay, well, at least that's west.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Yeah. Well, what does that have to do with all of this?
So I thought this would be more fun if I had friends.
It'd be way more fun if I got lost with a bunch of other people.
And I've only gotten our group lost once.
All right.
Felt bad about it. Went to a new hike. We did the upper hike that I was familiar with, but I knew there was a lower hike below these cliffs, and I had never done it in Southern Illinois, Rim Rock.
It's a lot. There's a lot of space out there.
Yeah, and I just took off, but then there was some issue with trees down, so I was like, well, let's just go this way.
Oh, yeah.
But we kind of lost our way. But thankfully, one of the moms' husbands was waiting in the car, and he had downloaded the All Trails map.
Oh, yeah.
And sent it to her
I've used
prior
that.
to being on it. Anyway, she ended up pulling it out and we found our way. And it was good. It was
Very
fun.
cool.
But that was sort of my motivation for starting it, is this would be way more fun.
Yeah.
To get out. I didn't really envision leading a nature group, you know.
Yeah.
That wasn't.
Well, how then? So that's the big question that people come to is like, how do you even start a nature group? What do you do? What's the process? The motivation? How do I get people to join it? What do I do?
What I did, this was like the easiest way, is to go through the Wild and Free website. I figured that's already an organization that people know, that people who have the vibe of wanting to get outside are going to be looking for groups there. And there wasn't one in Paducah. And so I started one. You have to apply and fill out paperwork, and it wasn't that hard.
So there's like
there's
kind of vetting.
There's a little bit of vetting,
which is good. Yeah.
And so I did that, and then I kind of didn't pursue it for a while. I kind of just held it. And then I decided to start January 1st. And I decided we were going to meet on Fridays every single week, no matter the weather. We're getting out. Unless it's dangerous weather. Like, obviously, we're not going to go out in a tornado.
Forest Friends on Friday in the library.
Yep.
If it's
we have done
like
that.
dangerous.
It's not my favorite. Yeah. I mean, we've never missed a Friday, actually.
That's cool.
Except for last week we did May Day. I have.
Yeah.
So people have missed.
Yeah.
Because going on trips or.
Well, we went on tour. We couldn't like make it back for.
I still planned it though.
Yeah.
I still planned.
Yeah.
You know what they were gonna do, and actually there have been 2 weeks where I was like, can somebody else plan it? I'm not doing it. So someone else did, but it was because I was going to be out of town. So, other than that, yeah, I mean, I just think of like, what could we do? I used to have a little nature plan, something to teach the kids about lichen, or did you know you can
Well, that's what I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
It's like, are you making it this really elaborate lesson plan thing, or is it let the kids run around in nature?
That's where I'm really torn.
What is it supposed to be through Wild and Free? What is
Wild and Free? Just go play, like just
okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be
as the name suggests,
right?
Feral.
So we're actually we've kind of stepped into our own thing. We're not totally affiliated with Wild and Free. I started a group me account, and so the Forest Friends is just on there, and
it's a way for people to get in and join, though,
if someone's looking.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
but I think I'm capping our group. It's grown too much.
Yeah.
Like it's,
which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at some point you lose intimacy, and too many people coming in. Somebody else can start another one, you know. And I've thought about asking our group if they want to split into like a younger group and an older kid group, or what do we need to do? Because I also provide a lot of materials for things. Like one day when it was rainy, I decided to do watercolor play silks, like painting play silks with watercolors.
Yeah.
In a pavilion in the park. And I had all these play silks because anytime they'd go on sale, I'd just buy them, saving them up for something. But that's not really cheap. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to provide it. And I guess I could ask for people to throw in, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm just saying, like, I can't probably provide 50 play silks. You know, I had 22 and that was it. And it worked out. But it's just kind of hard to like guesstimate how many people are going to be there once your group is so big, and you know,
right.
I don't know. There are a few challenges that I'm facing.
Yeah.
In my group currently.
The number one thing is like there's even some slight misconceptions a lot of times, is that this is specifically for homeschoolers.
Yeah.
And it's not just a play group for, toddlers.
Lots of people have wanted to join or reached out like in their summer months.
Not
can
to be
they come? Can they come in the summer when their kids are out of school? Well, I mean,
kind of ruins the vibe a little bit.
It doesn't ruin the vibe.
The kids are making friends, and then all of a sudden they're going to school, and then like
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. I just feel like this is an opportunity for homeschoolers to have a community.
Yeah.
That I don't know. It feels like I'm trying to be exclusive, but I'm not. It's just meant for homeschoolers. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get out in it every week together, building that camaraderie.
And it's really cool. And it really pushes against that narrative of, the homeschooler that doesn't get socialization. It's like that's always the big thing that they say, like, oh, your homeschooler's never gonna get social. Like, okay, my boys have more friends than I ever did that they see on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah,
and they see them a good amount of times. Like, the friends I had all throughout my life, I saw them way too much. And you end up like not being their friend, being their friend, drama, because you're bored. You're seeing them all the time. And it's just like, okay. And then year after year, same.
And the quality of time that you get to spend together. I mean, 30 minutes on the playground?
Yeah. Well, not to mention you're socializing with the same people for like 12 years. And then it's like, I mean, this is just an argument for homeschool and the socialization. I get that. But, and then it's like, well, what if they weren't the best people to socialize with? And like, well, that's who you got.
Yeah.
For 12 years.
Yeah.
Especially if you went to a smaller school. Oh my goodness. So I don't think this is like, you have introduced more diversity in socialization because there's different ages. There's the
different age thing is pretty cool.
Backgrounds, different views, different political affiliations all over the place. It's like real life, except you don't have to sit at a desk.
And we all value getting in nature with our kids.
And that's the cool thing, is that you through the vetting process, and I'm using air quotes, the vetting process, it is that you come in with somewhat an interest of a shared value.
Right.
And without that, I think you then just have a play group instead of forest friends.
Which I worry sometimes is going to happen. Like, I think even now there's someone who's coming who I didn't realize wasn't really intending on homeschooling, but she has little kids right now. So she is technically home educating.
Big listener. So we're calling her out right now.
She is home educating because she stays home with her kids.
Right.
But she doesn't intend to homeschool. So
it's time to proselytize. It's like, hey,
I feel like I'm in this tricky spot. Like, I'm gonna have to set up some bylaws. I really want to be chill. I want to be like, whatever. But then things start happening where I'm like, but not that. And don't you be coming in and messing up my vibe. I've got a vibe.
You just got to mean girls it. This is what you got to do. You just got to be the mean girl.
I've had to send messages like, are you homeschooling? Like, no.
Excuse me.
This group's really for homeschooling. And then she responds, so I guess I'm out.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
And it feels bad, but it's like.
I mean, even my neighbor. I love my neighbor. Bless his heart. He's 69 years old or something like that. 60 something, right?
Something,
Is he?
Yeah. Great guy.
He just had a birthday.
I'm not sure.
He is the sweetest man. Like, I love him. But the other day he walked over and he was like, are you still doing that Forest Friends thing? My granddaughters come every weekend and they're homeschooled and they really need to get outside more. You still do that every week? Can you send me that information? And I'm like, yeah.
The only hesitation being that it is
for moms.
Specifically for moms. Which you told him. He's like, oh, yeah, well, I'm not going to do that.
I was like, well, if you want to bring him, it'll probably need to be your wife because it's for moms. But how do there's
but
just
he was
so
cool
many,
with it.
Yeah,
he was cool with it. He's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. I don't think
totally
I want to be with a bunch of moms anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's another challenge you run into is that dads want to come.
Dads want to come.
And that's that's so cool. And it's not that you're trying to exclude them, but from the get-go, it is intentionally a group, Forest Friends, the Wild and Free organization.
Wild and Free, really, yeah.
Who set all this up, really. It is intended for moms and their homeschooled children to go out
school-age children, even.
Okay.
So, like,
well, obviously, you're going to have moms who have, like, an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old. So, I mean, they're not, obviously, the 3-year-old's welcome, right? Because the 8-year-old's going. So, I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I get it, because people just want a play group.
Right.
Which, you know, that I feel less. It's not my group. I don't, you know, whatever. I don't have too many feelings about this. But, you know, maybe they're exploring the idea of it. And maybe they do plan to send their kids to school, but then they see,
this
is really great.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And then, so, I mean, maybe you don't mean girl that one too hard. Mean girl our neighbor. 60-something-year-old man. No, I'm just, if you're listening, Jeff, I feel bad for you. I think you should just go anyway.
No, but there was a dad who came sort of regularly, and then I sort of like put it out there to some people that I was going to try and rein it in on the dad attendance. Only
because we were all starting to show up.
I mean, dads were really starting to
be fair, I have never shown up unless it was to
drop off the kids because I was hiding eggs.
Or one of you do events where
the
dads
whole
are welcome.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. There are times when everybody's welcome. Come on in, but just the regular thing is for moms.
If a dad is available to attend, then why don't they, just as a family, go on a hike?
They want to go to Forest Friends.
They want to go to Forest Friends. I don't know.
So
I kind of like put it out there to a couple people that I was going to try and make some clear expectations on the dad attendance. And one of the girls' husbands regularly popped in, and she told him, and he thought it was stupid that I didn't want dads to come.
Oh, I didn't know this.
He's nice and he's going to respect it, but he like doesn't understand why.
Yeah.
So, and I'm trying to like figure out.
Well, because it's 98% women, and let's be honest, you throw a guy, that's just human nature. You throw a guy into a group of women can't be women.
Well, they can't have the same conversations.
It's not the same vibe.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that for your Forest Friends. I'm not saying that for, in general, you throw a guy in there, you throw me into a group of women, the vibe changes.
Yeah.
Because everybody's just looking at me. Who's that handsome guy? No, I'm just kidding. But it's true. It's true. The whole
I'm not going to talk about.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I was going to talk about my cycle today. And, all of a sudden, Henry's here. Well, Henry doesn't want to hear about my cycle, and I certainly don't want to tell Henry about my cycle, so there goes that.
I don't think anybody plans to talk about their cycle, Jason.
Well, if you were going to...
Yeah. Just things. Breastfeeding.
See, I'm a guy. That's what I thought women talked about in the woods.
Their cycles?
Throws off the vibe, doesn't it? I'm okay with talking about cycles. Let's go.
I don't want to talk to you about my cycle.
Exactly. But you might need to in a Forest Friends group.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I'm sorry. I think I just ruined Forest Friends for everybody.
No, it's challenging. So if you're going to start a group, like maybe beforehand, think of every possible scenario that you can and just set the expectation from the beginning and make it clear. But you can't assume that people understand.
Well,
you can't assume.
What you have learned over the last, how many years? 2.5 years? Is the basics of what you have to go through as a leader of anything.
Right. I feel so
setting
bad
expectations
for pastors.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Being a pastor? Because I'm dealing with a group of Well, I think on the Wild and Free website, it has like 60 people signed up. And then in the group me, there's like maybe 38, but really only like 15 to 20 come,
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with 15 to 20 people on a regular basis. And sometimes I'm like, why is there a cognitive disconnect from the words that I'm saying to the interpretation? And it's a very small group. And I understand that communication is weird. And sometimes moms just have mom brain. And sometimes, but like I'll try to think of everything when I'm giving instructions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Every possible question, I over explain. And then people still surprise me sometimes. So a pastor with that many people and families and relationships and messiness and knowing people's secrets and like having to,
there's a lot to navigate. And then they expect so much of you. Not in Forest Friends. The pressure's off a little bit in Forest Friends.
Nobody really expects anything of me. People are very grateful. Like I did this May Day thing and a mom came up and she was like, I am so grateful to have someone to make magical things for my children actually happen who have the vision because I'm never going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
She like knows that about herself, but she's grateful for it.
Yeah. So that's really kind of the key to the whole thing and why things are set up the way it is, because you have a vision for what you want the group to be. And of course, as human nature goes, it's never always going to be perfect. But the vision you have is you're looking for a specific vibe for the group.
And my vibe is changing. Like, I am wanting to get a little more educational. I'd love to do some survival skills. I want to talk to Pat Ramble, the guy who we love to watch his reels.
Reach out. I mean, he's in Paducah, so.
And, like, have him come talk to the kids about different ecosystems in Western Kentucky. And I'd love to start getting, but he's a man. So, like, where does that fall?
He's an instructor.
Special situations.
Just don't talk about your cycle that day.
It's part of the ecosystem.
Well, that's fine. You do whatever.
I would love to start doing a little more of that. See, the group has been going on for 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. So, like, the kids have grown a little bit. They have a little more capacity. I'd love to start taking hikes. The longest one we've done now is just 2 miles or so. Mm-hmm. Love to do, like, a 4-mile hike.
Yeah.
Push our group a little more. But that just, it just has to.
And so that
people have to be flexible, willing to evolve. And I just have to be clear with what I want, I guess.
Well, that probably leans into then, though, that just the idea of how you should start probably doesn't need to be elaborate, hugely educational. Start simple. I'm guessing that's what you would
get your dedicated
suggest.
Group.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if it's going to be 2 or 3 people to start.
Right, and that helps. To me, so the first
you're figuring
time,
it out as you go.
The first time I had a Forest Friends, 2 other families came. That's it. And it was really good. It was fun. Mm-hmm. But I was a little discouraged, like, this is it? Several people had signed up,
Yeah.
And then the next time, I think one of the families was out of town and nobody came.
It was just you?
They ended up showing up late, one of the families.
Wow.
But I started to cry.
I remember that.
Like the second meeting, nobody shows up. So like it
and you're on the phone talking to me about it, and I'm like, Emily, we need to film. Can
you hurry this up?
I'm kidding. Do you need to talk to me about your cycle? I'm sorry. I'll get off that. It's a joke. I'm kidding.
But as long as you can find one other person who will show up.
Mm-hmm.
I think every group needs 2 people who are totally dedicated. I'm lucky to have 3 or 4 that are like, I'm definitely coming. They will be there unless they're out of town or sick or something.
They're your 3 musketeers.
Yeah, and they will be there. Those women I can count on.
That's all you need. They're your deacons, Pastor Emily. They're your deacons, and they'll show up every week.
That helps. I mean, it really does help to have that commitment.
Yeah.
I would say it would be really hard to
if everybody was kind of flighty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that therein comes the question of, do I require a certain number of attendance. Like.
Yeah. I don't know.
I actually noticed today at church, we're filming on a Sunday, they were taking attendance. Did you see that?
Most churches do.
I didn't realize that there was a guy like counting heads.
Yeah, they keep up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
Every church does that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty much.
Can't you just kind of look and be like, yeah, it's pretty full today?
Nope. You got to have a chart. You do that at Forest Friends. 26. Yeah. All right. So you would say start simple, grow from there, see what your group wants, what your group needs, and then like you go to a different place every week. You're not going to like the playground every week.
No.
You're going places.
But that's me. I don't want to go to the same place every week.
I think you would encourage people to switch it up every week, right?
Yeah, I think you discover a lot more. Kids learn a lot more. Like we have learned about different ephemerals growing in different places. And
right. I don't even know what that is.
Or, and it's just cool to discover your area and get out there.
What's the farthest place you've gone for Forest Friends? Which I know you don't do. About an hour and a half,
Southern
right?
Illinois, yeah, about Bell Springs, and it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Bellsmith Springs, yeah. It was really cool. We do drive up to an hour every week. So that's another thing.
Well, not every time.
Every other week, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do one locally at the park, but I'll even change parks where we go locally.
Which we have some nature-y trails and stuff.
Yeah, and then the next week will be further away and then local. And sometimes I'll do like water play day at my house.
Right.
That's not hard. There's one girl in our group who has chickens and a pony, and she was like, come to my house and we can let the kids ride the pony.
That's cool.
That was cool. So I like to mix it up and keep it different.
And at the end of the day, all the kids are just hanging out with their friends, socializing,
having a good time, learning about nature. We definitely do have some moms who are very interested in nature, so we do insert education whenever possible.
And you utilize people who have strength in certain areas. Like if you're going to a horse, she's teaching people and kids about horses.
Horse care. And
yeah. So it's like you use the strengths of the members that you have.
There's one lady in our group who always spots all the snakes. I mean, she sees them.
Wow.
So that's been cool for our kids to see so many different kinds of snakes and identifying those snakes.
Not step on the snake or get bitten by the venomous ones.
Right. They're almost
came up on a
venomous.
Giant group of water moccasins, didn't you?
Not a group of water. We were on a hike and there were 3 water moccasins.
That's a giant group to me.
They weren't all together. It was spread through the trail. The danger continued through the trail. So then I started walking and just throwing a stick ahead of us. And every time, like I got to the stick, I'd pick it up and throw it and keep.
You didn't see the snake. You go pick up your stick. It bites you on the hand.
I feel like that was a good idea, right?
I would take 2 sticks, one a walking stick to keep with you, and then one to throw maybe. But I probably wouldn't do the throwing thing personally.
You don't feel like that scares away the snake before you get there?
No.
Yes, it would.
Snakes don't just like, oh my goodness, and then scurry away.
If it's right there,
a lot of them
and
just
a
like
stick landed, you don't think it'd be like.
No, snakes actually don't. I mean, some of them might, but a lot of them don't even see that well. They're just like
they heard it and felt it.
Yeah,
and they were scared.
They're
it
more
might have worked. Scared of us than
they're
we
not
are
skittish like a rabbit is.
Yeah,
they don't just like take off all the time. Some might, but
right, because we walked by this water moccasin that a group told us about. A large group of people. They're like, "There's a water moccasin over there." We were like, "Okay,"
yeah,
and it was still there.
It doesn't
like a big group.
That's what I'm saying. You throw a stick at that one, it doesn't really care that much.
Well, it gave us false sense of security as we were on the hike to finish it out.
Yeah.
I did feel like, oh, I'm never coming here again in the spring.
Yeah.
Or summer. We reserve that hike for winter hikes only.
Yeah. Okay. Probably good. It makes me feel better. I'm always like, I'm the terrified of all the snakes.
Every time I'm leaving.
Watch for snakes.
Watch for snakes. Watch for snakes.
Thank you for that impression. I appreciate that.
The other day, I was just looking. Oh, I was ripping out wisteria. We have wisteria that pops up in this like little bed behind her house, and I was pulling out this big root, and I saw a snake skin that was shed, like right where I stuck my hand. It was taller than our 5-year-old. I mean, he held it up. It was long.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, we've got those around here. But I like the ones that aren't venomous because they're good. They get all the bad ones. Well, I don't know if they get all the bad ones, but they try.
Well, we had a bird's nest in our tree right outside our house, and we've been watching, loving to observe the egg every day.
Oh,
it's gone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they got eaten for sure.
Yeah.
That happened one time to us so behind the scenes, like 3 years ago, we did a story or a video about a possum. This is a different possum video. We have a lot of possum content that got into we were caring for birds built a nest in our garage.
Right.
And so we were just kind of keeping the door open, letting them get in and out because we weren't going to move the nest because they would abandon the kids or whatever.
I mean,
they were babies.
4 baby birds.
Yeah, that tells you how often we clean out our garage. They went through the whole egg and hatching process without us noticing until the babies were there.
No, I knew there was a bird in there because every morning when we would open the garage, there was a bird waiting on the handle of the lawnmower. And I'd open the door and it would fly out. And it got back in by nighttime. But
I don't remember this. No.
Yeah, I knew there was a bird and nest situation.
Well, you can see how much I go into the garage to clean it. Anyway, the possum came in one day and
I went to check on the baby birds and I saw something furry in there and I thought it was a squirrel. I was throwing stuff over there. I wasn't going to go over there.
Yeah.
Squirrels are horrid.
Yeah.
I was throwing, I tried to poke it with a broomstick and it wouldn't move. And then finally
he was full of baby birds.
Oh, he ate my baby bird.
I'll link to that video in the description. It's a pretty fun one. So we seized the opportunity and made a video about it, but we didn't say that the baby birds had died.
They definitely died.
They definitely were eaten. So, yeah. Anyway, do we have an update on the possums?
I haven't heard anything. I messaged the lady who took them, and she never got back to me.
Owl food.
They ate them.
They're owl food, for sure. Oh, well.
No,
Alvin,
but
Simon,
somebody did reach out to me and ask what they should do with their baby possums that they found.
Give them to me.
She lives in Benton, and I was tempted to say, I'll take them.
Yeah.
She had 6.
Goodness.
So I gave her the number of the
rehab. That lady's going to be like, guys, stop.
She had I don't remember, was it 28 or 20 baby possums?
That's a lot of work.
I mean,
isn't it?
It's just, I guess she's got it down to a science and she just probably doesn't really care. She probably doesn't take care to make sure every single one is eating well. Yeah. And then when they're big enough, she's like, well, if it's not going to eat on its own, then it's not going to make it. She has to be.
Well, with that many.
Yeah, okay with.
A possum mom doesn't even have that many babies. So it's I can see why a possum just doesn't even care when one of the babies falls off. It's
they just keep going.
I'm done. I'm tired of this. This is not what I signed up for. All right. Let's kind of what are the benefits to you of the biggest benefits of starting a Forest Friends group?
I mean, for me, it's been essential in building a community. I was lonely. I did not have many friends at all. And the ones that I did have aren't in my life anymore. So I needed it. I needed a group of people who had similar values and were interested in the same kinds of things, So it's been really good for our kids to make friends and for me to have friends and for us to do things together. And one of my friends that's in it, a few of them have a very similar vision of making magic and making magical moments, like the May Day thing or the autumn equinox party. They want to help it be something really great and memorable.
Memorable, yeah.
Yeah, memorable.
Yeah.
So kind of helping Mark. I love rhythms and I love seasonal rhythms. And so I really pull that in the Forest Friends thing.
Well, and homeschool can be very lonely. It can be, especially even if you have like a homeschool co-op that you go to, but I would say the downside is that it's so focused on education and not so much free and open play.
And free conversation.
Correct. And so in free and open play and conversation, that's where bonds are formed. And of course, I'm not saying that the other is bad. It's just that I could see, like, if we didn't have Forest Friends, I could see, I even feel by extension that I would be lonely. But like, I see you with your friends, I see you happy and talking to them, the community that I'm a part of by extension, and I see them and talk to them, and it's like, I mean, I don't have any friends, but it's like, that would be cool. So I see how great it is for other people.
Maybe that's why dads are coming, because they feel lonely.
We need a dad's friends on Friday.
All the dads who can't go. But I've thought most dads were working.
Yeah, I mean, I am.
I know.
On Fridays, I'm like, I'm going to go write or something.
Yeah.
Or edit video.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, people have different schedules, so.
Yeah.
Especially, or they're working from home.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at my computer.
No, some of them are business owners. Some,
Yeah,
some guys don't even want to come to the family events.
Events, which are really cool, by the way. If you're listening to this and you want to come to a family event, leave a review. I'm just, has nothing to do with, no sign up. We will not be leaving a link to Emily's Wild and Free because it's almost at capacity.
I would say it's at capacity.
Yeah. It
is full. So either the group is going to have to split or someone's going to have to start a new group.
Yeah. But I would feel that starting a new group just won't happen because
you have to be so committed.
It takes a certain person, such as you, to be the Moses. You've got an Aaron. You're the Moses. You're just leading the people to the promised land. Well, you got to have a Moses to start. Be a Moses. If you're wanting to start a group, just do it.
But then you have to be committed too. And
you have to be if you're starting it, you have to be the one that's going to show up every week, even if you're by yourself.
Right.
And then you hang out with your kids for an hour. Don't drive home. Go walk in the woods.
Yeah.
But it spread on its own, very naturally.
Oh yeah, I wasn't
with the Wild and Free umbrella.
Right.
That's kind of the key, is because that's sort of why it works, is because that's where the like-mindedness comes from.
Well,
they're seeking that out.
It, but now, I mean, I think people tell people about it.
Which is great.
Yeah. Actually, people have come up to us. They see a group of moms together in the middle of the day out, and they're like, what are you guys doing?
They look tired and weary and like pale. And, what is this group? I've been looking for this all along.
That's happened. They're just like, what?
Well, do they join?
Yeah.
Really?
That has happened. Yeah, where they just see us and they're like, I want
what you have.
Friends? What?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, if you haven't been encouraged by this episode, you definitely should be to do it, to get out and do it, or at least do it with somebody. You don't have to do it by yourself. If you have a friend who will do it, do it. I'm saying as a dad who's not welcome. No, I get it, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I think it's great for our boys. I think it's great for the community at large.
I will say, if you go through Wild and Free, they have like this disclaimer that everybody has to sign. It feels a little safer for me. Because sometimes I feel like I'm taking on this responsibility. I'm taking kids where there are high cliffs.
Okay, well, that's just nature. It's like you're essentially signing a waiver, but it's like you agree that your kid could get hurt on a hike.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's not my fault.
Yeah. Sometimes I do worry about it, though. I worry, like, what if a kid gets bitten by a snake?
Protected by legal. Thank you,
but
Wild
I am
and Free.
protected if they signed it, which I told them to. But
wait, you haven't checked?
I don't know how to check that.
I can't afford to get sued by your forest friends. Like maybe they would sue Wild and Free, not us.
No, I think it also protects like the places that we go.
Mm,
People are saying they won't try to sue the
okay.
nature station or
Yeah.
but all those entities probably already have their own protections.
Could we tell a quick story about the nature station?
Yeah.
And how it pertains to your forest friends. But I will link to this video as well in the description. But we made a video a few years ago before Forest Friends started about you stealing a turtle from the nature station because you thought
rescuing.
Well, you steal rescue because it had been
like
caged
in a
up,
sad little cage,
and you're like, it should go free, and then it fake gets hit by a truck. Well, when we released that video, I mean, it got like tons and tons of views.
It looked pretty real.
Yeah, we edited it in such a way that it looked like you actually took the turtle.
They had turtle shells there on a shelf, so I grabbed the turtle shell and made it look like I was pulling the turtle out of the cage.
There was never a moment where you actually took a turtle.
I didn't touch the turtle.
Right. Anyway, ever since then, I mean, how many times have you gone to that nature station with your Wild and Free groups? At least like 6 times, 5 times?
Yeah, and I've even gone without them.
And
they
you
don't like
they
me.
They do not like
They reached out to me
after that video.
asking us to take down the video because it would encourage bad behavior.
I didn't take it down.
Or whatever.
And
we were like, it's a joke.
It's a joke. Nobody's going to... Well, now
we changed this, like, the caption on it.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
this is a joke.
Yeah.
Well, now they have locks on the turtle cages.
They have locks on the turtle cages. It used to just be open top. And anytime I go, they
you get the squint eye.
Yeah.
The dirty eye.
There's a couple people who
stink eye.
Definitely give me the stink eye. So with the baby possums, I actually reached out and I reached out to them and said, hey, you guys had a possum and it recently died. Do you want these baby possums? And they said, no. You can call this person. And
they're on the other end like, ugh, it's this Emily person again.
I know. So then I called them. In order to get the baby possums to the rehabber, it was after I was going there. I called them and said, hey, I talked to you guys about some baby possums. Well, I'm going to be coming by there for the homeschool day. Do you mind if I leave the baby possums in your back room? I don't want them to be disturbed. I just need to plug them in the car. Yeah. They said, no, I can't.
The nature station said no to nature.
And so I was like, well, what am I going to do with these baby possums all day? I really worried about it. I ended up keeping them in a purse that it's like a basket purse. So they could breathe. I got some of those patches that you can put on your muscles, like the sticky patches that heat up that are air activated. And I lined my bag with those patches, the unmedicated kind, and then put the sweater on top of that. And it was perfect. And I carried them in my little...
And you were attacked by 4 different owls.
No.
They're all the workers there are like, why are all the birds flocking to Emily?
I walk in...
She's stealing turtles.
I get the squinty eye and I'm thinking and you don't even know that I have baby possums in my purse right now.
You're not searching my bag. They would have kicked you out. You're going to get banned from that place. It's a cool nature station.
I told the boys, don't say anything to anyone that I have possums in my purse. I don't want to get in trouble. They're like, you're going to get in trouble? And I'm like, no,
this is why this right here is why people have trouble determining whether or not it's satire or real. When they ask, I always answer yes. But this is why, because you live it. It's perfect.
I am hated by the local nature station, which is really sad because we should be allies.
Yeah. I mean, just because we freed your turtle fakely.
Fake. For comedy.
Yeah. I think nobody who saw that video thought, you know what? I should go steal some turtles from the nature station. I don't think that was on anybody's radar.
Yeah.
think we're good.
I keep seeing videos, though, about how a turtle, if you move it, it will just spend its life trying to get back to its home.
Yeah, that's
and
what they
it will
said.
just die in wandering. And I'm thinking about the nature station turtles. Well, what about them? Are they just
Usually
they're still alive?
Yeah, that's true. But they're
in their cage.
They're in an aquarium.
Yeah, but don't you see them like pushing up against the edge? They're just like
it's good exercise.
But they're still alive.
Yeah, I don't know how true that actually is. Maybe it seems that one seems like it's one of those fake things.
Well, apparently possums eating ticks is fake. I think I remember hearing about that is that like people put the possums in a cage and only fed it ticks.
The study is flawed. The way the study is flawed, but like so it will gather ticks upon itself, but they're very clean creatures, so they clean themselves really well and they eat all the ticks that get on them. I don't think they get 5,000 ticks on them a year. They just will, but they do eat
but
ticks.
They're not like actively seeking out ticks.
See, I never heard that. I never heard that they hunted ticks.
Assumption that they eat ticks.
I don't think that was ever the assumption. I think that
was the assumption.
Okay, well, that's what the assumption was. I always understood it as like they got ticks on them, they ate the ticks.
Oh, that's what you thought?
Yeah.
I always when I first heard it was that they are like guineas.
No, I've never thought that.
Eating ticks.
Yeah, guineas though.
I think
apparently
that's what
eat a ton. So
people think, and we said it in a video perpetuating the misinformation, but it was only it was comedy.
It's comedy. I mean, we're not trying to educate.
Except for
here we go. Get Emily's book. You know what? If you haven't read Emily's book, there's a lot of cool information in there about healthier living, changing crunchy small basics. Things, those crunchy basics. If you haven't checked it out, it's very approachable. I even understood it and agree with it. And then I'm married to her, and that's not why I had to agree. I
might have said this before, but I thought it was so funny. Jenny, 1,000 Hours Outside, had me on her podcast, read my book, and then for the next year or so, she would message me like, have you heard about seed oils? And it's like, it's in my book.
She reads a lot.
Wrote about it there. And then have you ever thought about fibers? Well, that's in my book. It's, it happened multiple times on just random things. And I'm like, yeah, I wrote about it. I didn't go super in depth. She said she needs an entire book about fibers, an entire book about seed oils, an entire book about
this is an approachable way to
hit the highlights.
Hit the highlights.
Start making decisions little by little.
Yeah, that are very effective for your life, and then you just kind of keep going from there if you want. I'm a published author because I wrote a little bit in it too. Telling a little story here and there.
It's true.
And they're pretty good. All of it's pretty good. So you should buy it after you leave a review. Well, Emily, thank you for being a guest on today's show. I really appreciate it.
So many people wanted to hear more about Forest Friends and how to do it, and I hope we answered your questions. If not, leave a comment asking whatever questions, and we'll try to answer them.
Any lightning round things you might not have hit on that I don't know, maybe not. That's fine. That's cool if not. I just wanted to make sure we hit all the things for questions that people might have. But yeah, if they have it in the comments, we can actually answer it in the next podcast if we want to. Depending on if there are enough, or if they're dumb questions, even better. So this person wrote a stupid question.
Well,
what's a forest?
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I'm trying to communicate with people, and I feel like I have to really.
I think
the
biggest problem is, really especially in text, people skim.
Oh, skimming.
People skim because they're doing stuff. They're busy. Their kids are screaming. They skim. And so they just don't
That
read
gives me hope for humanity.
Yeah. Well, there's some pretty obvious things to you that people just didn't read. They just didn't see it. That happens to me all the time. I barely read anything. Except books.
Yeah.
I read books.
You don't skim the books?
No, I skim your text, though. I have no
Thanks.
idea what you say on a daily basis.
That's why I'm like, I told you this. And you're like, no, you didn't.
I'm kidding.
Yes, I did.
I'm joking. I would never skim your texts. I read them in detail.
Well, thank you so much for listening, and we hope that you start your own forest friends.
And I won't show up because I'm not invited. All right. See you next time, everyone.
Bye.